Hello and welcome to Rising Matchday this Sunday the 5th of September. I'm Owen Evans, looking ahead to this afternoon's game against Tacoma Defiance. Coming up on the show, an international break but rising star players staying put. A lot of action around the division over this past week, so where do things stand? And we take a look at today's opponent ahead of Rising's first trip of the season up to the Pacific Northwest. But first, let's take a look back to last week's match at Wild Horse Pass. So Rising facing New Mexico for the only time this regular season and the first time since defeating them 5-2 last year. But the visitors getting on the board first, Chris Wean leaving this ball to get through to Sergio Rivas, who buries to put United up 1-0. Into the second half, Rising find their equaliser. Aidan Quinn with the ball across goal, Joey Calistri shoots it back across to the other side and brings the scores level. Two years ago, Calistri had a brace at Isotopes Park, and he was to achieve the same feat in this one, picking up a loose ball some distance from the goal and unleashing a monster of a shot to make it 2-1. Rising went into the last 10 minutes up, but a bit of a mix-up at the back, and as Andre Rolls goes to punch this one clear, it ricochets back off James Musa into the Phoenix goal. Both sides level at 2-2. But that wasn't it. Former New Mexico man Santi Mo had a chance to give the hosts all 3 points, and he does. A muted celebration as you'd expect, not so much from his teammates or coaches of course. So Rising take it 3-2, not the easiest of wins, but they'll take it. Here's the post-game reaction.
I'm so proud of them. They fought like real, to go down a goal, an emotional match, a team that wanted to beat us so badly. We weren't playing fantastic, but you could see once it opened up a little bit, like our transition got going back to the way it used to be, and the speed and the intensity, they were not going to let the fans down. And what do you say about Joey Calistri, man? I mean, the guy everyone in New Mexico must hate this guy, but I'm sure glad he's here with us.
Yeah, we knew that we were playing well. Chances were coming. We just knew that we had to stay on them and keep playing and keep finding pockets where we can get on the ball, and we were able to do that in the second half.
It's huge for us. It's very, very big. Like you said, our recent run hasn't been to our standards and what we want. To be able to bounce back the way we did, scoreline aside, just the intensity, the integrity, and the heart that we showed out there tonight, to bounce back from the Wednesday game was huge. So even if it was an unfortunate tie, I still would not have been worried because what we showed out there tonight shows the true Phoenix Rising.
It's a relief. It's a relief to stop that negative streak that we had, and coming here home against New Mexico, one of the rivals, and finishing up with a win, and me having the winning goal. I was joking around that I was missing the previous goals, so I could score the winning goal at the end. So, I mean, it was meant to be, I guess.
When were you last beaming this much? Because you are smiling.
Yeah, I did not want to lose that game. The first goal they scored was fantastic. What a dummy and great finish. And I thought, oh, you have to be kidding me. We're going to fight. I thought they would drop back, but man, I told Troy they play the right way and they try to play football, and it's so fun. I think it's great for USL when teams play like this, and probably not great for them because they ended up losing, but they had a chance to win. They were very good, and that's a great team. I'm sure he'll get it sorted out and get them going soon.
Well, if you looked at possession, you'd think this was a pretty even game. Of course, possession not really telling anything much of the story, Rising drastically outshooting their opponents, recording almost as many on target as New Mexico did in total. Well, last weekend, San Antonio doing a favour for Rising, beating El Paso Locomotive. El Paso, of course, currently battling with Rising for top seed in the West. Meanwhile, out east, several clubs fighting for rights to host the playoff final. But what does the regular season title race mean here in Phoenix at the moment?
Yeah, that's to me right now, it's a little premature. I mean, we just came off of 3 draws and a loss and in previous 4 and then got a victory. So in five games, we have, 6 points. So we're not talking about first place in the USL. We're talking about winning our division first, and that's most important. You've got Oakland, who's on a tear right now, and San Diego's picked up a couple of loans. I think our division is still far from over, and until we've mathematically clinched our division, that's all we're focused on.
This weekend there's a variety of international matches taking place around the world, including in CONCACAF as the octagonal kicks off. Jamaica started their qualifying campaign on Thursday, falling to a late goal at the Azteca to lose against Mexico. Now they'll face Panama at home today, but Rising's 2 Reggae boys haven't made the trip to play. Instead, they're still with their club team.
Well, we had heard some rumors that England was not going to let Jamaican players go because they were going to be playing in Costa Rica, and I think it's on the red list for England. So I was actually concerned we might lose Darren as well. But I saw the list came out, and you never know. I'm not the coach of Jamaica. I think he's got a plan. He's got an idea. He likes the guys that he likes, and the benefit to us is that Kev and Darren are still here. We both know that we all know that they're impact players for us, and they would be great players for the Jamaican national team. But look, like you said, their loss is our gain. But at the same time, I think Kev and Darren will get their opportunities at the right time, and when they're ready for it, and when Jamaica's ready for it, I think that Kev will be a fantastic player for them.
Well, speaking of Darren Mattocks, he almost scored with his first touch for Rising on the weekend. But what should we expect out of him going forward?
Darren still, he hasn't played for 3 months, and that was his first minutes in a game since, I think, what did they say? He ended in mid-May. So for him to basically train for 1 week and then come into a game, and I told him, I said he would have been a legend if his first touch was a goal. But he did really well. I thought his movement was exceptional. The second shot that he just missed wide on the volley, for him to cut off his run and ask for the cutback, that's kind of a very veteran move. So we know Darren's a good player, extremely explosive. We have to be a little cautious with how quickly we put him into games, but he was really excited. He thought the environment was fantastic. He wants to be a part of the team. He actually apologized to one of our assistant coaches afterwards, and he said he's like, I owe you guys 2 goals. I'm sorry about that. And that's good because that means he cares. So we're excited. We think we're in a good position, and the team's doing really well moving forward.
Well, let's take a look at what's been going on around the rest of the Pacific Division. We'll start with an interdivision match, Orange County heading out east to face Charleston Battery. Not a lot of chances in this game. Ronaldo Damus perhaps getting the best opportunity of the match with the ball in the box here, but he can't direct it on target. Without any goals, it was a late red card capturing the headlines last Saturday, DZ Harmon's antics after the play blown dead, earning him the send-off, Charleston playing the last couple of minutes with 10 men as they saw out the 0-0 draw. Onwards to Oakland, playing back at home at Laney College against Tacoma Defiance. Early doors, the hosts showing how to take a short corner successfully. Whipped in, flicked on, and Kai Green at the far post getting just enough there to turn it in past the defenders. First half stoppage time, another corner, this time for Tacoma. Tom Brewitt's header bringing the sides level before the break. Into the second half, Memo Diaz goes down in the penalty area for the hosts here to earn themselves a spot kick. But while Thal's efforts saved and held by Christian Herrera. Instead, it turned to Ariel Mumba just a few minutes later to give Oakland the lead, turning around a defender and slotting the ball through a resulting gap. Jeremy Bokila put the icing on the cake for Oakland late as they extended their unbeaten run to 6. Final game of the night on Saturday, but an early start for San Diego Loyal. Oliver Lares making the most of a wicked deflection over the Sacramento Republic keeper to put his side up 1-0 within 3 minutes. 23rd minute, Augustine Williams doubling the advantage for the visitors, putting them up 2-0. And just minutes later, he'd add to his tally, picking up the header off a corner and putting San Diego up 3-0 within half an hour. One bit of consolation for Republic, and it came from the spot after Mario Penegos was brought down. Cameron Iwasa stepped up to convert, but no comeback on the cards. They lose this one 3-1. Little break for Republic on the road on Wednesday in LA. Another penalty for them in the first half, again won by Penegos as he took on Josh Drack. Cameron Iwasa steps up and buries it, 1-0 to the visitors. They would double their advantage approaching the half-hour mark. Duke Lacroix with his strike from outside the box makes it 2-0. And that's where the comeback started. Preston Judd with a free header just minutes later, bringing it back to 2-1. Into the second half, and again it's Judd being picked out in the penalty area. Didn't look too sure of it initially, but he does hammer it home. Suddenly, Judd's looking for his hat-trick. He might have had one too if he weren't taken down by Rafa Diaz in the Sacramento goal. Jorge Hernandez stepped up for the penalty. He scores from 2-0 down, Lobos up 3-2. Just in case we hadn't had enough penalties, one last one left. Malik Foster brought down by a sliding challenge, William Hoffman the referee showing no hesitation in pointing to the spot. Iwasa steps up for his second on the night and makes it. Both sides finish it up level at 3-3. So one Thursday night clash, and it involved today's opponent, Tacoma taking on Lights. First half, and as with the weekend, Tom Brewitt getting a goal for Defiance, putting them up on the night here, rather than just tying it as on Saturday. Lights wouldn't give up though, Eric Olowski's long range effort bringing them level. One more goal in the game, it's Ray Serrano picking out a spinning Sam Adeniran. Alex Rando no match for that shot. Tacoma take it 2-1. A couple of Friday night games to go through and a long road trip for Oakland Roots out to Tampa Bay. Half-hour mark, ball bouncing around in the area off a corner. Seba Gonzati on hand to turn it in, putting Rowdies up 1-0. Still in the first half, Sebastian Dalgard with a long-range effort. He hits it with power, no arguing with that one. 2-0 to Tampa Bay. One more goal left in this one. Lucky Amkasana rounding out the night for Tampa. Oakland's unbeaten streak ends. They fall 3-0 to Rowdies. And the final match in the week, Orange County hosting El Paso. First half, Sebastian Velasquez tees up Nick Ross near the edge of the penalty area, who unleashes a rocket into the near corner. Locomotive leading. On the hour mark, a quick break from OC. Eric Calvillo bursting forward and knocks it across for Ronaldo Damas to bring the scores level. Orange County not done there. Minutes later, Shauna Coley gets his head onto this one to see the hosts come from behind to lead 2-1. But it wouldn't end that way. Late in the game, Patrick Rakowski spilling the ball into the path of Leandro Carrillo, who found the equaliser. That's how it would finish, 2-2 on the night. So the 2 draws for Orange County sees the lead for Rising at the top increase to double digits once again, perhaps more importantly seeing El Paso drop points in the race for top seed in the conference. Both Sacramento and Los Dos will be kicking themselves for their draw in midweek, while the sides in the playoffs will be grateful, a 7-point safety net between 4th and 5th instead of just 5. Oakland only 10 points off a playoff spot now, quite remarkable given the start to their season. A few other games today on a busy Sunday out west. San Diego hosting LA Galaxy 2 at 3 o'clock, Vegas Lights hosting Sacramento at 7, one midweek game to keep an eye on, Lights playing Root on Wednesday in a battle of the 2 bottom teams. Well, a lot of games for Rising in the coming weeks, many of which are away from home. 2 midweek clashes in September for the club, but what does that kind of fixture congestion mean from the coaching staff's perspective?
It's a big challenge to the medical team, really. But for me as a coach, it's exactly the way we approach the New Mexico game. This is, for lack of a better word, and I don't always say this, but we use the term warriors going into this game, and we didn't talk a lot about tactics. We didn't talk a lot about how we needed to beat New Mexico. We just said you're going to have to kind of get back to our roots, and we're going to have to really compete, and you're going to have to be warriors. It's not going to be easy. And it was good because they really had to fight for that victory. And I think, when we scored the own goal, I think the whole stadium was shocked and our team was shocked. It was kind of this really moment of disbelief that we were staring at another draw, and they kind of showed their character and they showed who they were, and they weren't about to give up and to draw or even lose that game. So that's what I talked to them about after the match, and I said that's the spirit that we've needed, and that's what we'll try to use to carry through a difficult stretch like this. I mean, when you go on the road, there's at the end of the day, tactics become a small part of it, but it's always about commitment. It's always about hard work, and it's always about how much desire you have to win. So if we don't bring that to a game, then it doesn't matter how talented we are. So I think the guys have kind of, they figured out, and we hopefully we found our character again, and we found out who we are. And I feel really good about the next few games. We're excited for them.
We're looking to tonight, one player who missed last week's match, Solomon Asante. Will he be available today?
He's doing really well. We're being a little bit overly cautious. He did something that is when you get a hamstring strain, there's a thing called PRP where they take some of your blood and spin it around and get the plasma and put it back in, and it helps the healing process. It's the first time we've done it, but it speeds it all up for him. So he probably could train this week. But because of the way that we've proceeded, we're going to keep him out for another week.
And finally, what should we expect out of Defiance?
A lot of the MLS teams are are playing except for Seattle. So let's hope we don't see their first team on Sunday afternoon. This is one of those games where you just don't know. The one thing I do know is that they've consistently played in a 3-4-3, very aggressive and going forward, very good on the ball. They like to attack. So I think this is going to be an exciting game. We expect it to be pretty open. Their field is usually pretty good there, and the weather will be fantastic, and it's an afternoon match. So hopefully it's nice and warm, and those Tacoma guys aren't excited. But either way, I know our guys can't wait to play again, because the way the New Mexico game ended, there's really a lot of good energy around here, and it's a very similar team to New Mexico, very similar style, aggressive with the ball, and I think we really enjoy those types of games.
Well, that's all we've got time for here today. This afternoon's game, a 1:30 p.m. kickoff. For all the latest from inside Cheney Stadium in Tacoma, make sure to follow along with the social media accounts here. That's all from me for now. Enjoy the match. Goodbye.